Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 most important things for new players to do when starting MapleStory. As a new player, I know there's a ton of things to do when starting off the game, but hopefully after watching this video, this gives you a good idea of what is most important for you to do. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So starting off with number 5, we're going to be talking about getting into a guild. So the reason why getting into a guild is so important is 1, you gain a ton of passive stats like attack, arcane force power, damage to normal monsters, and a ton of other things, but also it helps you meet a ton of new players and a ton of new people to potentially find struggle parties to run bosses that you were trying to progress towards. When starting off in the game, if you're not trying to get carried, it is extremely hard to solo progress in MapleStory, so it's super useful to know as many people as possible and to try and ask around for others for help and guide you in the right direction. Moving on to number 4, we're going to talk about Legion and why it's so important as a new player to get this level up. So with the Legion system, you gain a ton of passive stats just like a guild, but with Legion, you can gain all sorts of stats from attack, crit damage, IED, buff duration, normal monster damage, bonus EXP, crit rate, and boss damage. This is extremely useful for not only bossing, but extremely helpful for training as well. I know as a new player, it feels like you're extremely weak, especially compared to others around you, and that's probably because your Legion level isn't as high. We have a ton of guides in the channel talking about Legion and how to go about it, so I will definitely link that in the description below. But trying to get your Legion level anywhere from 2k to 6k is a great start as a new player and trying to increase your damage to bosses and to normal monsters. Moving in to number 3, we're going to talk about links. Links are another extremely important passive way to gain damage inside of MapleStory. This not only helps with bossing, but again, it helps with training as well. There's a ton of different ways to go about raising your link levels. And again, we have a ton of guides about this on the YouTube channel, so I will link those in the description below. But understand that raising your links is an extremely important part to progress in MapleStory. And again, it kind of goes hand in hand with Legion. Probably feel much weaker than other people around you, and that's probably because your links aren't as high a level as other people. I definitely recommend getting your links to level 1 and then getting them to level 2 and then passively trying to get them to level 3 as you raise your Legion as well. So before we move on to number 2, we're going to get into our honorable mention, and that is going to be saving for events. This is something that a lot of newer players don't really do, but it's definitely something that will help out a ton of people when trying to progress in MapleStory, especially for things like star forcing. Star forcing is an extremely important part of the progression system inside of MapleStory, and getting to 16 or 17 stars can sometimes be extremely expensive. Trying to wait for events like 5, 10, 15 or 30% off or potentially even Shining Star Force is a great way to actually make progress within your account, but not spend as much money and hold your progression back. On top of Star Forcing, there are also cube sales, but these are a bit rarer and they don't come around as much. But these are also great events to try and save up for and spend as much money as possible when these events are around. So we've gone over getting into a guild, raising your Legion level, raising your links level, and saving for events. And now we're going to go into the top 2 most important things for newer players to do when playing MapleStory. So number 2 is going to be getting to level 235 as soon as possible. And why is getting to level 235 as soon as possible so important? The reason why it's so important is because it allows you to work on getting all of your arcane force symbols unlocked, and allows you to start working on doing the dailies to actually level up these arcane force symbols. These arcane force symbols are extremely important because they allow you to actually do more damage to bosses and mobs inside of MapleStory. And without arcane force, it's nearly impossible to actually progress inside of MapleStory. And for that reason, that is why getting to level 235 is ranked number 2 on the top 5 most important things to do for newer players. So moving on to the number 1 most important thing for newer players to do when playing MapleStory, that is hands down without a doubt going to be getting Miso and drop gear. Getting Miso drop gear is by far the most important thing to do for any newer player in this game. I cannot tell you the amount of people that we have seen and talked to that are level 240, 250, or even sometimes 260 that still do not have Miso and Drop Gear. The game is extremely hard to progress in if you do not have your Miso and Drop Gear made. The reason why Miso and Drop Gear is so important inside of MapleStory is because MapleStory is a lot of grinding and a lot of training, and when you train, you want to maximize the amount of Misos that you actually get, so it allows you to make upgrades on your main and also allows you to make upgrades to other boss mules. Upgrades in this game all cost Miso, so you want to be able to make as much of it as possible along with doing other things. Along with getting Misos while you train, you want to be getting other things like nodes and arcane droplets, so it allows you to actually make other boss mules and allows you to actually buy arcane equipment to progress further and further into the game. Miso and Drop Gear has always been a staple inside of MapleStory and probably will always be a meta to progressing your character as efficiently as possible. And for that reason, that is why Miso and Drop Gear belongs at the #1 spot in the top 5 most important things for new players to do when joining MapleStory. As always, if you guys have any suggestions of what you potentially think should have been on this list or some things that were missed on this list, please leave them in the comment section below. But as always guys, I hope you all did enjoy the video, and until next time, I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.